Thank you, John. John, I think we should sit down. We got a little tete-a-tete to do. John, I've known your dad for many years. I truly admire him. He's always smiling. He's always smiling. And an outstanding man. I mean, Mama, please don't mind, we'll be talking about him a lot tonight. So, but the truth of the matter is, what is it about him that you admire the most?
Well, my dad is extremely honest, and he's simple, and he's extremely humorous. For example, he says, John, you're a hero on screen, but I'm a hero off screen to have tolerated my wife for so many years. So, I mean, he jokes about it, but I think he encompasses far more than what a father's meant to do. And he's a super guy, and he gets his point across very simply. I mean, he doesn't really have to stress on it. He doesn't have to scream. He's never screamed at me. So he gets his point across, and I think I understand that life has to be very simple and not complicated, and I try not complicating my life.
You know, I met your dad and your mom. It was my second IFA. It was in Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam, my wife and I flew to Paris. And I met your dad and your mom on the streets of Paris. And they said that you were out shooting. But from what I gathered, they were so excited and so very proud. They may have been abroad before, many times. But this particular trip of theirs was very special because they said that John designed this entire trip for us and made it so special. It was like a gift from you to them. Of course, it's never enough, you know, but it was so well planned, and they were so grateful and so proud to say that John has sent us on this trip. And it almost felt like a second honeymoon, I have to say. I'm so sorry. but they were so happy. I can't tell you, you weren't there to experience that. But there was so much joy, and you played the good son. Now, I'd like to add that you did an MBA, right? A very conventional education. Academia is what you started with, and you must have been pretty good at studies in school. But then when you finished your MBA, you suddenly decided to be a model. What did Dad have to think about that?
You know, surprisingly, I'd expect my friends to have encouraged me, and my father and mother to ask me and say, are you sure you really want to do this? Because modeling, it's not a legitimate career. But not once did they question my career choice.
But didn't they say that, you know, why did you do an MBA before and just...
My father actually, you know, growing up, they said, son, study, because there is nothing more important in life than to study, because education makes you stand in front of a crowd, and you can speak to people. It gives you the power to speak and the power to choose right from wrong. And I studied, and after I finished my MBA, the only thing my dad said was, you've studied, now you're on your own, now do what you have to. And I was a media planner with an ad agency, and then I got into this modeling competition, and I chose to model. But I think they were extremely proud because I enjoyed it. They won that I won that competition, and they were extremely happy. And then the rest is
history.
History, yeah.
But tell me one thing, John. You said you started as a model, and then you went on to do films. Now, in that whole process, was there anything that your father said that actually defined what you were thinking, planning to do? And when you said earlier, you know, he said you're on your own. Were you really on your own? Or those are just words?
Well, I think in a strange way, I was on my own. I knew they were always there to back me, but I knew I was going out there into this world of modeling and then films. And, you know, even in films where, Boman, you know best, and we know how it is, that, you know, when you have someone in the industry, it becomes a little easier to hang in there. But, you know, my father only gave me the sense of self-conviction. He said, believe in yourself, because there is nothing that can get you through. You know, there'll be people who will always speak good about you. There'll be people who will speak bad about you. but don't hold anybody in disrespect. Just understand where they come from. He always says this, he says, forgive them for they know not what they do. And, and you just continue with what you have to do, and that's, be convinced about what you're doing.
Yeah, John, we're talking about Father's Day and this concept of Johnnie Walker Blue Label, date with dad. What does it mean to you?
I just want to give you an incident which is very interesting, and I think all you people out here must hear that. My mom and dad take care of old people at the Cheshire home for the aged. And a long time ago, when I had gone there, which probably mom also doesn't remember, a guy my age walked in, you know, America return guy, smart guy, walked in with his father, and he said, Dad, you stay here and I'll come and pick you up tomorrow. He never came back. His father passed away. He didn't come back for his father's cremation. And he never came back. The only time it seems he came back, and that's what the sisters told us, who were looking after the home, is when they had to divide the property. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know, it's so important that you make your family inclusive of whatever you do. You spend time with your parents, even if you argue with them. The important thing is just spending some time with them, and that's exactly what I've been doing. And these moments are very precious for me with my dad. I walk into his cabin. He's an architect. And I say, so what are you doing? What job are you on right now? And then he'll tell me what job he's on right now. And he'll ask me what's happening with my shoot. And we talk about it. And we talk about the films that I do. And trust me, he's watching us right now. He's very entertained about the fact that you're sitting here, not me. So
No, I have to tell you, you know, he's such a wonderfully frank person. He said, you know, we talk about, not about you, but we talk about your wife at home more than you.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, Mr. Abraham.
Yeah, so he's a chilled out guy. He's a nice guy. Yeah.
If you had to surprise your dad, we're talking about Johnnie Walker, Blue Label, date with dad. But if you have to surprise your dad at one such date on Father's Day, what would you do about it?
My dad loves his whiskey, and you know, Johnnie Walker's the apt brand that has actually given us the opportunity to really support this cause of date with dad. But the one thing I'd like to do whilst my dad's having his drink is actually, you know, we watch football games together, and he's better than any football app that I have. So when the World Cup was going on in Brazil, he would actually call me and tell me what the score is if I was shooting in the night, because I had night shoots, and the games were at 9:30, 12:30, and 3:30 in Brazil. So he'd say, Chile is 1 up, and this team is 1 down, and you know. So we've shared some great moments. But the one thing that I'd like to do, Boman, is I'd like to take my dad for a live game somewhere in Europe. He's of course seen my team Northeast United play, and he's enjoyed these matches thoroughly. But I'd like to take him for one of the international games so that he can enjoy that moment. They just were outside the Bernabeu Stadium. That's where Real Madrid plays. And they clicked a photograph and sent me. So I was just hoping that he could go and catch a game in there.
You know, I can't tell you what you're saying moves me so much, because I had gone to Madrid with my son. It was my birthday time, so my wife sent my son just to give me company. I was doing some talk for corporate. And the next day we were walking around the streets, and one of the executives came and said, do you all enjoy football? I said, yeah, why do you ask? He says, we've got box seats at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium.
Wow.
And Real Madrid is playing. Before we knew it, we were in a box watching this wonderful thing, and my son and I, it is a real dad-son moment, we were staring each other's face while the game was going on, because we couldn't believe that was actually happening.
Wow.
And you know, it was such a wonderful moment, I have to tell you. I believe those tickets are exorbitant, unaffordable.
Yeah, I went to a club in London recently, Arsenal, and a ticket for 2 on a prized game when they play big teams like Manchester United, and a ticket for 2 with dinner is £20,000.
20,000 pounds?
20,000 pounds. That's 2
I
lakh
thank
rupees.
those people very much.
You know, so it's a lot of money for just 2 people to watch a game. then people like me would wish that the game goes on forever because 20,000 pound abhi kharcha kiya hai. Abhi khelo aur khelo, you know. So it's I can understand how you must have felt.
It was awesome.
Really special.
It was very, very special. Well, tell me, what is the best piece of advice your father has ever shared with you?
I think my father's always emphasized on the quality of character, and he says that you must always do good even when no one is watching.
I'm going to stop you right
Yeah.
there. John, you don't know about this, but I know this for a fact. I had visited someone in the hospital once, maybe the same person, who probably didn't know either of us, but he told me that you had been there. And very quietly, without anyone knowing, and John, nobody knows about this, is exactly what you just said. Your father said that you should do good when nobody is watching. And I know this for a fact, John. John went down to the cashier, the receptionist, and paid the entire bill of that patient. And I think that's completely awesome. There was no press around. There was no need to even tweet about it or nothing. But that's what John Abraham is about. And Mr. Abraham, you should be very proud that he's following your word to the T, and you should be extremely proud. It really epitomizes what you just said. Do good for people, but don't have to show it off.
Yeah.
I'm showing it off for you, so it's okay, right? Charles? Okay.
Charles.
Okay. Your fondest father-son memory?
I think it's playing football in the house.
Football in the house?
Yeah, we used to play football with this small red ball in the house and kick the ball around. And the only way we'd stop is when my mother was a referee. With a broom, she used to hit me. And that's the only way to stop the game.
What is he saying, Auntie? What is he saying?
So
Would she hit you or, the other person playing also?
no. My dad.
No?
No, I don't know whether she hit my dad in private, but I
But
definitely
trust me, I've been married 30 years. I've had experiences myself. So,
Yeah.
but you enjoyed playing football at home.
I enjoyed playing football, and we used to watch the World Cup football every 4 years, and we used to watch the French Open, Wimbledon, US Open, and the Australian Open every year, like religion.